Hello again, guys. I'm back with some more stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP's sister, who demands that OP's husband pays for her wedding because OP's wedding was so extravagant and her husband is rich and can afford it. Wow, the entitlement. Listen to the end of the story to hear my insights on the situation. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. To start, I'll say that my parents are already offering to chip in for my sister's wedding. They didn't chip in for me, even though they offered. I rejected them, as my husband paid for the entire thing. He's very wealthy, and so are his side of the family, so it was a very big, extravagant wedding. My sister was one of my bridesmaids, and I paid for her bridesmaid dress and paid for everything. I spent hours organizing my wedding and spent a lot of money and organization to make it the best day ever. My sister helped with my hen weekend, a little with organization, and not financially. My best friend and maid of honor helped me the most with everything. Anyways, my sister is now getting married and she wants my husband to pay for it. It's £22,000 that she wants us to pay for. We told her that that's ridiculous and she should try to pay for her own wedding or get our parents to help. She then got angry at me, saying my wedding was 1,000 times more expensive and that I had the money and wasn't being fair. Her friends and her husband have been saying that we are snobby and treat them badly and won't pay anything towards their wedding when my sister helped out so much with mine. I've even gotten messages off some of her friends calling me an awful person. Someone even said that apparently she married her husband for the right reasons and not for money, which really upset me. I don't know if there was anything I could do or if I'm in the wrong for refusing that. The fact that OP's husband is well off doesn't mean that he needs to pay for everything and everybody. OP's sister's demands are very rude, to be honest. She is entitled and spoiled. If she wants an extravagant wedding, well, she needs to pay for it herself and not to expect OP's husband to pay for it. The excuse she gave for wanting to marry her husband is basically calling OP a gold digger. I'm pretty sure she secretly wishes she married someone as wealthy as OP's husband. Let's see what the community has to say. Oops Raya says, not the a-hole. Having a big expensive wedding isn't a necessity. If your sister wants one, then she should be able to pay for it herself. The fact that her friends and husband are bad-mouthing you as well is nasty. Review OK 929 says, not the a-hole. I'm laughing at the nerve of your sister to ask for your husband to pay $22,000 for her wedding. That takes some brass balls. She wants to get wed, then she needs to pay. Kiki Made Crazy says, not the a-hole. It's her wedding, her partner and parents to finance it. To your sister, I will say that weddings that cost less also come with a lower rate of divorce. This is statistic. I, 38 male, had a fight with my ex-wife, 41 female, about her child, Sam, 7 male, and need an opinion from outside. We have one son together, Jake, 9 male. Sam is not mine. Our divorce was caused by my wife's infidelity, and I said up front to ex as she was pregnant, I will never take any responsibility for Sam, not emotionally or financially. However, I have figured my emotions out and got them in order to protect my son, Jake. That includes I accept Sam as his little half-brother and allow him on special events to visit me and Jake. Our custody agreement is clear. Every second weekend, Jake visits his mom. So my son had his birthday last month, where I allowed Sam and ex to visit and celebrate with us. It wasn't something big because of the global situation, just about 15 people, Jake's friends and some family members. Sam loves to mimic Jake, and as he saw him calling me dad, he started to call me dad too. I have spoken to him calmly that I don't want to be called dad by him, but he is allowed to call me by my name. As he had asked why, I explained that he is not my child and I am not his dad. Also, he asked me who his father is, and I responded that I don't know. He then runs to my ex and asked who his father is. My ex sent him to me to ask. I just told him that his mom doesn't know either, but I'm not his dad, and again, he should call me by my name. However, on this day, nothing happened anymore. Even though I noticed my ex tried a crappy move on me, I just ignored it. The problem is, Sam has told it also to his school friends as the class have played a game where they talked out their family. I have to say here, some children are pure evil. Some of Sam's classmates have started to pick on him as to not know who his father is and worse. My ex called me about it. I told her that she has to fight over this with Sam's teacher and the other kids' parents, but it is not my problem. She then started yelling at me on the phone that it is my fault and called me some names. I responded that I have noticed what she tried at Jake's birthday party, and this problem wouldn't exist if she could keep her legs closed for other men, and told her she should try to find Sam's actual father if she wanted a man to take care of her son. X involved our parents in this fight. Now my mom is nagging me over this and sides with X. However, I was not gentle with her either, as she called me. Notice, my mom always wanted a daughter and saw my wife as her first daughter. That's why I'm in low contact with her, because she tried to force me to forgive my ex. Here's why I might be an a-hole. My son has picked up on this whole mess and is now mean to his little brother and rejects to play with him and teases him as well. I've actually made an appointment with a therapist to solve this, but I don't think I can solve it on my own. Am I the a-hole here? Edit. Most asked question. I can't be the father of Sam. It's medically impossible. Also, a court-ordered paternity test confirmed that I am not the father. I don't think OP is an a-hole here. I feel really bad for Sam, but he's not OP's kid, and this whole problem came up because OP's ex created this situation. She should have tried to find out who the boy's father is, as Sam deserves to know. She shouldn't have tried to pass the responsibilities to OP. It's selfish and irresponsible. But also, I think that OP should try to keep their disagreements with X out of earshot of OP's son in the future. And now let's see what the community thinks. Misky Moon says, not the a-hole. X needs to take responsibility for her actions. She shouldn't have told Sam to come back to you to answer. Speak with your son and get him into therapy, and they'll help to explain the reasons why he's being mean. Your mom and X are the a-holes here. All White says, not the a-hole for not allowing Sam to call you dad. But you need to realize that Sam is innocent. It's not his fault his mother cheated on you. You should talk to Jake. Don't allow him to pick on his younger brother. Pizza is a Pie 69 says, not the a-hole, but you need to better your son. Have a talk with him about how Sam isn't your son, but a lot of kids don't have a dad or don't know their dad. And that's sad, but not the kid's fault. Your son could be a friend in his half-brother's corner. Don't F this up, dude. You don't have to parent the kid, but don't ruin his life by letting your son pick on him too. So, I, 24 male, broke up with my now ex-boyfriend, 26 male, a couple weeks ago. About 6 weeks before we broke up, we had our 3rd anniversary, so he gifted me a very expensive backpack. I gifted him 2 expensive colognes that he liked, still a lot of money, but did not equal the cost of the backpack he gave me. We've been communicating since we were long distance, but frequent visiting, so a bunch of our stuff is with each other, such as clothes, art, records, etc. And we would talk about what we would keep or mail, and how to mail stuff. We were discussing yesterday evening, and I told him how I had already resigned to the fact that we were breaking up soonish, about 10 weeks before we did, but was hoping for a change to make that situation better. Such as if he got a job offer up here, or if his parents would support him for a time while he looked for a job, and we could be reunited and work on repairing the relationship. As such, when we exchanged gifts, I already knew that this was probably it. He flipped out at this because he did not feel this way and demanded the backpack back, saying it was unfair that he gave such a gift while not knowing that I had essentially felt the relationship was over. I told him that since it was a gift and that I was hoping for some change to make it better, and that I would not be giving it back to him. I also said those colognes are yours to keep. I have no interest in having them. They're not what I wear. I turned to my phone on Do Not Disturb and went to bed because I was done with the conversation. When I checked this morning, he was pissed, saying that he was not going to give me my remaining things and to not contact him again unless it was saying that the backpack was in the mail. The thing is, what's included in what's left is my great-grandmother's Christmas ornaments that she willed to me when she passed. While they aren't necessarily expensive, they do have a ton of sentimental value to me, and I would obviously like them. They are at his house because he had a Christmas tree that needed decorating last Christmas. I'm tempted to go through court to have the ornaments rightfully restored to my possession, since I legally own them. However, I'm tempted to just return the backpack so I can get the ornaments and get all this over with. He can keep the coffee mugs and earrings for all I care. But it was a gift that I use and would like to keep since it's so nice. Am I the a-hole for not giving him the backpack back? And would I be the a-hole if I filed an action in court for recovery of my ornaments? Well, in my opinion, the answer here is easy. OP should give the backpack back and get back the ornaments, as it's definitely a much more important and valuable item. Also, if OP really was thinking that they are not meant to be together, she shouldn't have accepted an expensive gift in my opinion. Let's see what the community has to say. XOXOJK29 says, "A gift is a gift, so I understand why you'd keep that backpack. But these ornaments, by going through the court system, what guarantees that your ex won't destroy them or get rid of them, despite the possible consequences? If he's that mad about the backpack, he might not be rational and would want to hit you where it hurts the most. And no money would replace the sentimental value of these ornaments. Personally, I'd do a trade, the backpack for the ornaments. You mentioned that you're not near each other. Is there any way to do a trade in person? Because I wouldn't trust to ship it. Also, not the a-hole." Professional Ad 9013 says, "Think about the baggage that would be attached to this nice baggage. Is it worth the struggle to get your stuff back to keep it? It will always have negative associations for you. In your place, I'd give it back, just because it makes for a cleaner break, with the added benefit of clearing up getting your things back. Not the a-hole, but maybe do an Elsa and let it go." Witchy in the Wild says, "What could possibly make a backpack so special? I think he's out of his mind asking for a gift back, so I guess not the a-hole. But I also can't imagine a backpack that is worth more than the hassle of going through the courts. If you want your stuff back, just count the backpack as part of his stuff and cut your losses." My fiance, 35 female, and I, 37 male, got engaged about 6 months ago and moved in together 3 months ago. She was married before and has 2 kids who I adore, 12 and 9. She also has 2 stepkids from that marriage that her ex-husband had before they got married, 21 and 17. My fiancé still keeps in touch with her stepkids pretty regularly and is involved in their lives, even though she's not with their father anymore. I've never met the 21-year-old, as she's away at college, but I've met the 17-year-old, Kate, 4 or 5 times. My fiancé has been pressuring me to build more of a relationship with Kate. I honestly don't know why. I'm not Kate's stepdad. I'm not an uncle. I'm not blood related in any way. I'm just the guy who was engaged to her former stepmom. My fiancé gets mad at me when I tell her I don't want to go to one of Kate's softball games or meet up with her for lunch or dinner. When my fiancé wants to do something like that, I will usually make an excuse or offer to watch my fiancé's kids while she and Kate do whatever they want. I have never and will never tell my fiancé she can't hang out with Kate or support her in whatever way she wants. I just don't feel the need to involve myself in Kate's life in any meaningful way. I love my fiancé's 2 kids, and I'll be the best stepdad I can possibly be to them. But I don't see Kate that same way. I'm not going to be a stepdad to Kate the way I will be to the younger kids. Kate doesn't live with us. I am polite with Kate when we're around each other, but I'm not looking to build a meaningful relationship with her. I've explained this to my fiancé numerous times when she asks why I won't go to a softball game or something. I think it's great that my fiancé wants to maintain that kind of relationship with Kate, but I don't feel I need to be involved in that in any shape or form. Last night, my fiancé wanted to go to one of Kate's softball games, but neither of her kids wanted to go. My fiancé wanted it to be a family outing and us go out to eat after. I offered to stay behind with the kids and meet my fiancé for dinner after the game. She got mad at me for always finding an excuse to not do something to support Kate. I told my fiancé once again that I don't care about Kate. I told her I think it's great that she wants to support her and stay involved in her life, but I don't have that previous relationship with Kate, and I have no interest in building one. I will gladly take care of the younger kids and absolutely love hanging out with them. I told her that Kate already has a support system, and that I honestly think it's a little weird that my fiancé is putting so much pressure on me to build a relationship with a 17-year-old girl who probably wants exactly 0 to do with me. My fiancé ended up going to the game herself and later texted me to not worry about meeting her for dinner because she's taking Kate instead. I honestly find it very strange. It's okay if OP's fiancé wants to be in her stepkid's life, but why push OP to do that as well? He's just a stranger to those kids, and I totally understand where OP is coming from. I would feel exactly the same. He needs to stand his ground. Let's see what the community has to say on the matter. OC Beach 2 says, "This is so odd. This is a stepchild to her, and she wants your involvement? I don't even understand if this girl wants involvement with you, not the a-hole." Crazy but not lazy 1983 says, "Not the a-hole. Another issue that has not been brought up is Kate after college funding. Before you get married, you need to sit down and have an in-depth talk on finances. She's coming into the marriage with herself and 2 kids, and Kate. You are coming in solo. I suggest you set up a household budget that you both pay into accordingly, as she is obsessed with taking Kate out to eat, going to all of her events. I can see her wanting to pay for part or all of her education at the expense of the rest of the family. I, 29 female, went to my cousin's wedding as a guest, not a bridesmaid or anything of distinction. We're not that close, but I do like him and his now wife. The wedding was wonderful, with one hiccup. We have another cousin, Jonathan, 30s, who is weird. He disappeared off the map for a couple years and randomly showed back up one day with no explanation as to where he'd been. It's the great mystery of our family. He's also exceptionally difficult to converse with, very shifty-eyed and cold and vague. So me, my brothers, and some other cousins, including Jonathan, were fairly drunk and dancing about. Jonathan had pointed to a woman across the room and asked my brother if she was single. My brother said, "Dude, that's our cousin." It didn't immediately strike us as weird, as he'd been gone for many years, so maybe didn't recognize her, as she's grown quite a bit, now early 20s. But he persisted and said, "Oh, that's Jessica. Do you know if she's single?" I'm now majorly uncomfortable. He was making advances towards her, and all my alarm bells were ringing. I intercepted and pulled Jonathan aside and told him he needed to leave. He argued. I said, "Do not make a scene. Leave quietly, or I will get security." Alas, I had to get security. The security was very professional and discreet, but Jonathan made a scene nonetheless, which tipped off the bride and groom. Both of them asked me what happened, and I explained the whole thing with my brother's cooperation. They confirmed to security that he needed to leave, but after he was gone, they argued with me for doing that without their permission, saying it's not my wedding, not my call. I basically said I don't care whose wedding it is. I'm not standing by and watching my young cousin get SH'd by her own cousin. Also said I thought I was doing them a favor by dealing with the ugly stuff, so they didn't have to be interrupted from their day. They said that's what the bridal party is for. They're holding steadfast that I was out of line and have no wedding guest decorum. Am I the a-hole for arranging to have him kicked out when it wasn't my wedding? Well, looks like OP had good intentions, so I would say that OP wasn't in the wrong kicking the cousin out of the wedding. Snow Guavas 1985 says, "Not the a-hole. Your intentions were honest and well guided. I do understand them being upset, as I imagine any bride and groom would be for having that occur at a wedding. This is a judgment call situation, and I think you handled it well. I too wouldn't have wanted to put that on the bride and groom's plate." Shattered Kit Kat says, "Not the a-hole. As someone who has been a bride and will be again, I would have loved someone taking a bit of stress off me. As someone who has been SA'd, I would have loved someone interfering for me. You did right. I only hope the bride and groom can stop being petty a-holes and see that as well." Manhattan Mets fan says, "You're the a-hole. You see something like that, you tell the people whose party it is. It is not your obligation nor right to play bouncer at their wedding."